Can you tell me how to get to negative 7/4? What? Negative 7/4. I need to get to negative 7/4. Okay. In our first problem, what we're going to do is we're going to find 7/4 and its opposite on this number line. It will help to think about what the fraction tells us. The denominator, the bottom, tells us what we count by. So in particular, we're going to count by 1/4. The top, the numerator, tells us how many steps. So as always, we have to put a 0 on our number line, and then I'm counting by 1/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, and there is 7/4. We'll put a dot on there. That's where our 7/4 is. Now, we want to talk about the opposite. When we move in the opposite, of course, we're going to be on the other side of 0, where numbers are negative. So I'll count negative 1/4, negative 2/4, negative 3/4, negative 4/4, negative 5/4, keep on going, all the way to negative 7/4. And again, I'll put a dot there. On the worksheet, you'll see this term, consecutive integers. I want to know what consecutive integers my 7/4 is between. And what I'm looking for is what nice whole numbers I'm between. I'm going to count one more fourth over here. So I'm going to count and get over here to 8/4. And it's helpful to think about the fact that 4/4, which I see right here, is the same thing as 1. And 8/4, which I see over here, is the same thing as 2. So that allows me to say that 7/4 is between 1 and 2. Now, what about the opposite? What about this number here? Again, I think I'll go one tick mark further, negative 8/4. And if I take negative 4 over 4, I want to think of that as the same thing. That's the opposite of 1. So I'm going to have a negative 1 here and a negative 2 here. So if I'm talking about negative 7/4, negative 7/4, note that I added the minus sign, is between negative 1, whoops, let's draw the minus sign there, negative 1 and negative 2. So what I did change there is I added minus signs to tell you which consecutive integers negative 7/4 is between. Let's do the second problem. And now we're talking about a decimal and its opposite, but we're still working with a number line. Things are a little bit different here. Because I have a decimal, I don't have a fraction, so it's harder to see how to count. But of course I can always write this as a fraction. That's 3/10. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to count by tenths. Now there's two ways to talk about this. We could count by 1/10, or we could count by 1/10 as decimal. And because we started with a decimal, I'm going to continue with a decimal. So I've got 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So I have now found my point right there. And we'll do the same thing counting in the other direction. I think I'll do it on the top so I have more space. Negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3. and again, put my dot there. Now, if I want to think again about consecutive integers, it's a good idea to keep on counting until I get to a nice round number. So for example, on the positive side, I could count 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. Hey, I hit 1. That's my nice round number. So I notice that the number I'm interested in is between 0 and 1. Let's write that down. 0.3 is between 0 and 1. And if I go in the opposite direction, the negative direction, so let's see, negative 0.4, negative 0.5, negative 0.6, negative 7/10, negative 8/10, uh-oh, ran out of number line, negative 9/10, and negative 1, then the number I'm interested in, which is negative 0.3, I now know what it's between. Negative 3/10 is between 0 and negative 1. So what we've done is we've put points on our number line. We did both a fraction on a number line, and we just handled a decimal on a number line.